Growth, I think, is the most important part of being a professional. Reflection. Every day I kind of go home and think about what I did right and what I did wrong and how I could have done things better and differently. And I watch my colleagues and see, oh, I could do things that way. So growth and change and developing yourself.
It's hard, you know, sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's a challenge because you're sitting here, you know, especially for a person like me, I really don't have an educational background, you know what I'm saying, or like a behavioral background as far as education, like going to school or anything, so it's like you have to find different ways. Like I've been reading books on classroom management, behavioral management, you know, so that's how I've been getting the hang of it, but it's like I have to find other ways sometimes when I have challenges that have not been put in front of me yet, and it also teaches you, well, me as a teacher, where some of the kids' strengths and weaknesses at as far as working together. And this is what I've been learning from reading books, you know, as far as like classroom management and student behaviors, which is great, you know, so it's like I get a taste of the actual ballpark, you know, it's like I'm reading and it's like as I read, I feel like it's also being put to work at the same time. So it's just like, it's not a waste of my time of what I'm reading from the knowledge that I'm getting from this book. It's just like, it's awesome. I'm just like, wait a minute, I just read this the other night, you know? So it's pretty cool.
The professional development piece is not understated. It's very, very important. It's very difficult to get sometimes because obviously you need to find subs to give people relief time, and it's exhausting. You know, this is a hands-on job, and I think sometimes it's easy to forget that teachers have 100% contact time. I mean, realistically, they may not even get to use their lunch break some days to decompress. So they're expected to help all of these little learning busybodies decompress, but keep it together and follow directions and grow and thrive, and they're always on. And they don't really get the opportunity to do any of that self-care. And so I think that can be really difficult. Professional development provides a little bit of that self-care, a little bit of that opportunity to get reinvigorated and excited again. But then when they come back, are we giving them the time to try and implement it? Because oftentimes we'll send staff to trainings, they're so excited, they're really, really into it. And then they're disappointed because they feel like they still have all of these other things they have to attend to that are more immediate and it's hard to get to. And so I think, you know, as much as possible, it's important to make sure they have a good chunk of time for planning so that they can do that. Because yeah, they're gonna work from home. They all do, but it's not, you know, it shouldn't have to be all of the time. They need a break too. And self-care is really important, and also something that's hard to help them know that's really important. And so I do look at professional development as an opportunity for a little bit of both, to learn new ideas. They get very excited about that. In addition to attending trainings, oftentimes it's working together, working collaboratively even within their own center. We would love to have people observe in other centers, but that is difficult, we found, to coordinate, and we've heard other centers say the same thing, but working together. So for instance, at our staff meetings every month, and this came from one of the staff's classes, she decided that it would be really great if we talked about challenges and positives at the start of every staff meeting. And so that's how we start. Everybody eats dinner together and they share a positive, and they get really excited to share what's positive. And then they also share what they're being challenged by to see if others have ideas, because maybe it's just something they haven't worked with before, but someone in the neighboring classroom has. And it's difficult sometimes to give them time to collaborate and get out of their rooms together. And so we look for ways to do that as professional development too.
I think that professional development is a really important part of that, organizing and minimizing the chaos that can happen when you're in this kind of a job. I think it provides teachers the chance to take a step back and be out of the classroom and think about their practice, and think about their classroom and how it works and what things about it work well and what things about it maybe aren't working so well. And that changes over time depending on the kids that you have and a number of different factors. And then I think the other thing too is it can be teaching teachers about ways that they can manage and address those areas that maybe aren't working so well. And so I think it serves a really important role for managing just the stress that comes with this job, is having that opportunity to take a longer range view and to learn some new skills that can maybe help you to maintain some of that chaos that can happen when you work with kids.